Good afternoon. Hello to everyone from the Co-Founder Club community. This is Keith with the Startup Sales Mastery podcast. And if you've looked at the title, yes, this is Financial Friday, magically taking place on a Sunday, because on Friday, my day got absolutely crazy. So did everybody else's. And the next thing I knew, it was coming up to 8 o'clock and I have kids and I got called, rushed back home. But hey, we are doing Financial Friday today and, deal with it. Welcome to the exciting startup world where we just pivot and we do what we can do and we don't worry about these things. Ultimately, the goal is to get it done. And I like to be seen as an example of that. So this is, look, this is the startup world. If you can't get it done perfectly, that's okay. Just get it done in the end, because 9 times out of 10, it's still good to go with customers. And I think this is a wonderful example. Now, there's my intro. We are Solution Week, which was the week I'm finishing off right now. And for Solutions Week, the plan was to quickly give an overview of actually accepting payments for your solutions. Because if you're not going to get paid, or there's trouble getting paid, or there's confusion getting paid, then what the hell's the point in actually bringing a solution to the market? I'm going to give you guys a quick overview. In the members area of Startup Sales Mastery, I go into more detail. And quite frankly, I need, people more qualified than me to go into pure detail. If you're up and running with about, 10,000 subscribers, there's still an answer in this video, but it is, of course, more geared towards new and early stage entrepreneurs that are just getting up and running for the first time. Okay, online payments, offline payments. Offline payments, come on, we all know the score. Send me a wire transfer, give me the cash, PayPal to my name, all of these things. You hopefully are an entrepreneur and you're smart enough to do those things, so I don't actually need to go into them. Let's move on. Now, are we talking about a B2B solution or a B2C solution? If it is a B2B solution, typically we're going to be sending invoices. So let's cover this first. So for sending invoices back and forth, a lot of countries, I know, we just do this on a Word document, send the invoices back and forth, get a unique thing. Or we can use a piece of software such as QuickBooks, for example. That's an accountancy software. If you're using a CRM, and I get asked this question a lot, which is the best invoicing software for my CRM? The best thing you want to do in that situation is actually go into the integrations list in that CRM and use one that's already built in and compatible. They're all going to do the same thing ultimately, so you may as well use one that is compatible. I got asked this question from someone using Pipedrive, and immediately, because I know Pipedrive, I just said, go into the list. There's going to be like 10 or 12 integrations. They all come with free trials. Use one after the other until you find the one you like. And I know the most popular one up there was PandaDoc. I think that's what, like $30 a month. And the advantage of using one inside is that you build your product, your price, everything into the CRM. So when it actually comes time to sending someone a quote, you just press quote, boom, and it sends off. The second reason you may want to use one of these internal ones is typically they connect to merchants or sub-merchants, and I'm going to get into them in a moment. But the point is the actual payment and the signature and all of that can happen inside. So you're not actually turning around to them saying, yes, can you print this out? Can you sign it? Can you do this? Can you send it back? The applications tend to offer a sort of open up a little box where they can digitally sign it, your new customers, so everything actually gets done for you. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Quite frankly, that's how simple it should be. And if people are thinking, ooh, $30 a month, with respect, you're paying for the simplicity here. If you do not want to pay and you want to keep it on the cheap, DocHub, for example, integrates with Gmail, and that has X amount, I can't remember, 5-10 documents a month, which is free. So you can get, 5-10 documents free. Invoices, you just put an invoice template, tell people to sign it. If you're doing any more than that, I quite frankly don't understand the problem with paying, because you're not paying for the service more so than you're paying for the speed, the simplicity, the tracking, and just get the goddamn thing done. That is worth more, but hey, don't let me tell you guys what to do. In terms of more detail than that, speak to me after, speak to a professional. but that's really the quick answer. So to conclude B2B stuff, accountancy software like Sage, or I know QuickBooks is one of the most popular ones. If you actually Google this online, you'll see a whole list of them. And then it's up to yourself what you want in terms of features and all this kind of stuff. And I mentioned that the final part of the payment process, sorry, if you're using a CRM, definitely look at the integrations list of the CRM just to make life easy, because at the end of the day, who cares if one does the job over another, because they're all pretty much priced the same. And then that should automatically get done to complete your purchase, because the final part of this is merchants and sub-merchants. Now, this will apply as well to the B2C model. I get asked all this all the time. How do we accept all these payments? How do we set up merchants? A merchant is simply an online payment processor, if you will. Technically, that's not the correct terminology, but for the purposes of this video, it is. We have payment gateways, we have payment processors, and we have payment aggregators, okay? I'm only going to give the quick answers in this video. Let the financial guys give you guys the full correct terminologies and information. So on one side, we have things like Stripe and PayPal, SquarePay, there's a few others, and these are effectively aggregators, payment aggregators. What they do is they let you sign up for a free account and process payments to anyone, anywhere, and they charge a fee for this service, and they're really easy to set up. They're usually free to set up, and they only tend to charge you for what you're going to use. So you just want to get up and running and accept payments, you're talking around 2.9%. Plus, what is it, 30 cent on top, and that's it. You should be able to get up and running like today. It isn't something that you got to go through a whole process. They ask for 1 or 2 documents to prove you're a real person, and positives and negatives, but the positives being quick, easy, cheap. And this is always where you want to start if you're a new entrepreneur or just have a few payments, because it's easy to budget and manage. The big problems, and you'll hear horror stories about people, freezing these accounts. So that is one to watch out for, which is why I use Stripe, for example, because from what I know, Stripe, I just heard a lot of horror stories about PayPal, big numbers getting frozen for like up to 6 months, which can cripple you. I've been using Stripe for a while. I actually set up one in Ireland, one in the US, and I'm not going to say I did anything dodgy, but let's just say I'm not a US citizen, so I was creative with my application. And I've had no problem, money coming into my account, not a problem. And whenever I actually have issues or questions, I send them a message, and the same day they send me a message back. So customer support, I can tell you, with Stripe is great. I assume if ever there is a big problem, they'll come and talk to me. But for now, I've been using them, and it's been perfect. So that is Stripe. Now, merchants, on the other hand, is a little bit different. So with the aggregators, if you will, like Stripe and PayPal, what you are doing is they effectively act as your merchant, and you pay through them, and they're connected to the merchant on the other end. The merchant is like, the bank or right in there that actually does the payment processing. So they're a middleman to make life easy for you, for me, for everybody else. They give you the tools, the softwares, the UX, the actual screen to work with, making life lovely and easy. If you're going to skip them and go straight to the merchant, you will get slightly better rates. Instead of 3%, you're talking 2%, in some cases 1.5%. But there is a lengthy application process. They want to know who you are. There's usually monthly fees. So this is now a situation for the bigger guys. If you're up and running, regular payments, all this sort of stuff, and you're actually prepared to invest more effort, time, and energy, just go through merchant, and they'll build up a rapport with them. You'll have a customer service manager, so less risk of getting frozen unless you're doing really dodgy stuff. So they're really the differences between the two things of that. And quite frankly, after watching this and that explanation, you should know exactly which one will be best for you. I use a combination. And again, whether it's B2C or B2B, automatic processing versus actually creating invoices, sending it off, holding customers on accounts. All the features are included in all of them. I'm a Stripe user. I can issue invoices. I can issue automatic payments, do anything I want. I do not bother using an invoice providing software just because my business model, I'm fine with Stripe. I like Stripe and I like doing it all internally with Stripe. That being said, again, bigger players, what is your particular needs and what are you playing with? Recurly, for example, I'm just going to throw it out there. If you need something robust and serious because you've got a huge, big operation, again, up to the 10,000 markers, and you're using affiliates and partners and all this kind of stuff, this is sort of into the high level, pretty much do anything. Whatever you can imagine, the damn thing can do. I've used it, I've played with it, and it's absolutely wonderful. What you pay for with all these tools can Stripe, which is just for the payment, versus Recurly, where you're paying what, up to $200, $300 a month. What's really the difference? The difference is time and effort setting these things up, and that's kind of important. So instead of, with Stripe, I could add 50 users, and they could just be, billing users, support users, and this permission and that permission. Something like a high-level tool or even the invoicing softwares, everything sort of gets done automatically for you. And I know I've gone over the 10-minute marker, but I just wanted to be thorough with this explanation. So let's conclude. If you're a new entrepreneur, don't worry about the what you're using. Just Stripe it or PayPal it. The key here, get up and running fast, charge your customers. And you know what? If you lose a couple of dollars here or there at the beginning, who cares? As long as you're actually able to charge them, the payment goes through and everything works. When you're getting up and running and actually processing, a few thousand on a monthly basis, now start thinking about, okay, how can you become more efficient? Because now that 1%, $10, $20 a month, not a lot, but it's actually worth investing time because you want to scale that from the $10, $20 a month leakage up to, a few hundred, few thousand. So that is really the way to do things. I hope this has been helpful. If there's been any questions, please put your comments in the side. Financial Friday should be returning on Fridays, which is when it's meant to be. I will be back tomorrow. All next week is going to be covering the market. It is the market week. As I mentioned at the beginning, my name is Keith. I run Co-Founder Club, and this is the Startup Sales Mastery podcast, where I show early stage startups how to get from strategy. And then if you just want to work with me, no problem, get in touch, because me and my team do lead gen right through to sales, qualifying, and closing. That's what we do. I mean, we're salespeople. Good luck, enjoy the week, and go make some money. Take care. Bye.